distill the need of patients and bringing drugs to patients with a very practical implementation of OKR and agility. What I wanted to do is to show you how we are delivering on each one of those 4 items here by integrated our Praxis and WorkBoards and the entire idea of how they can marry each other and be aligned to each other. So the first one, which is very prevalent, like across many industries, but I would say more prevalent than not in our industry, is a silo mentality, right? Someone handing over to someone else. And that's normally not because humans are like bads or they want silos. It's actually the opposite, right? We want to do the best, and you're trying to get to the point that that best is done. But it's not only slow down the process, it precludes learning. So we wanted to make sure we drive clarity and there's no silo mentality by defining and aligning OKRs. The second one is we're able to leverage the work streams in WorkBoard, and like work streams that each one of those teams are working. And by the way, across the organization, not only in development teams or program teams, but across the organization, using agility principles. Some of the teams are more versed and advanced on the agility practice. Some of them are less, but there is a general framework of agility in the company. And we've been using the work streams as a mean to enable that and to improve that and to learn from it and continues to improve in general. The number 3 here is moving in an integrated manner, right? From the meetings we all love being at, as you all know, not always, to getting the agenda set up, integrating to business reviews, getting back to the OKRs, to the work streams, and really have a central place when you can have a communication. But even after the meetings, we just had what we call a roundup this morning. And right after that, which is an all company meeting, we get all the like an agenda and the notes, and it's a very efficient way to interact. And the last is reducing PowerPoint waste, which is kind of a little bit oxymoronic since I'm using PowerPoints right now. But not being driven by slides, being driven by the conversation and the learning. And we think we could accomplish, or we were able to accomplish all of that by integrating both our practice and WorkBoard. This is a mock-up team actually with some of our objectives from this quarter or previous ones. But you can see we have some categorically, we're like creating culture, innovation, operational. There are a couple other things we've been focusing on. But the idea is that we are starting and finishing each one of those alignments with the executive team, and then with each one of the teams connected to it. That is a setup that is done, that is, we provide context to the entire company, since context is incredibly important on a practice like this. But then we are very, I would say, liberal in terms of how the teams actually take this in each one of them. The only real rule, if I may call, is that they are aligning and they are supporting the objectives. But in a culture of learning, the more rigid you are, probably the less learning you're gonna end up having. So it's a dynamic system where we're really trying to drive the most alignments. And by doing that, and by doing in a very cross-functional way, not in theory, but real in practice, we're able to gain all this alignment and to break silos in a very robust way. The second item here was the integration on the work streams that we talked about. So we're using most a Scrum-like system to run like agile sprints and things like that, as you're all very familiar with. And we're able to leverage directly from the platform, right? From the work streams, each one of the phase. Some of the teams actually adapted this a little bit more and going back and fitting towards what matters the most. Questioning ourselves on the learnings, questioning ourselves on how can you do better, always focusing on patients. Are we bringing these drugs to patients? And sometimes bringing the drugs to patients mean infrastructure structure, recruiting faster. It's whatever it takes, but in an aligned manner towards an outcome that is the patient receiving a drug that is the best for their treatments, that keeps them alive or keeping them better operating in society. The number three is what we're talking about, the integration, right? So all the meeting agendas that we set up from the executive team and a few other areas in the company, we're leveraging the technology we have here as well. As you can see on this mock one, where we get an agenda driven, it's fundamental, enough in terms of the space for the debate as well and for the discussion, since again, rigidity is sometimes an enemy of innovation, but a lot of discipline, since discipline is a key component. But cascading that throughout and getting that all of that in an integrated manner, and we're incredibly happy on how that's done. And it does culminate, but I would say it's more of a cycle with the business reviews, all right? And how we can connect and ask ourselves, are we putting the efforts towards it? Are we discussing the right things? We're all open. As a company, we made a decision that transparency is more important than like being secretive about some of these items. So we are sharing in general all the work streams across the organization, all the different activities from the teams, the overall assessments that they're doing throughout. So super like feedback driven and so on.